So I know you all don't like long introductions, so I'm not going to give you one. If this is the first time you've been in one of my live streams, my name is Braille. I am the creator of Pedestal Life Society. I have been able to alchemize my delusions, or if you want to call it your imagination, and bring it from the spiritual world to the physical world. So with being able to have this ability, I am never in lack. And since I want to share some insights in order to do it for you, so you can do it also. I've already been teaching this type of content. If you didn't know, now you know. If you're in the Midas touch of feminine energy, I give a thorough process that you're going to need if you can't hold your delusional imagination. So the very first thing you need to know is that logic will get you from A to Z. Imagination will get you everywhere. That is Albert Einstein. It is not mine, but it holds truth, especially if you want to alchemize your delusional imagination. And I think this is a good segue into having this conversation because we've been talking about money, right? And coming in from money yesterday, let's talk about how I alchemized my delusion and received 20,000. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm a beginner. I am not a beginner. I've been doing this for a very long time. And being able to pull the things that I see or visualize from the spiritual realm and bring it into the physical realm, which this is where I teach you how to do these things step by step in the Midas touch of feminine energy. So the very first thing that you need, if you're trying to alchemize something, and alchemy means to alter. Everything in the spiritual world is energetic. So if you want to pull something energetically from the spiritual realm into the physical realm, you have to believe that it is possible. If you don't believe that it is possible, then you can't have it. It's just that easy and just that hard. A lot of women can't get past the block of being able to believe that they can have it. So this can actually apply to more than money. So if you want to alchemize something that you have, or some type of delusion, or people consider it to be delusion, or your imagination, and you want to bring it from the spiritual world, which is energetic, into the physical world, then you have to believe that you can have it. That's the very first step. If you don't believe it, you can't have it. If you don't believe it, you can't receive it. I'm just going to tell you that. And that was my issue in the very beginning when I first started. When I first started on this journey and started working on myself and my spirituality and my personal development, I realized that I could not hold it. Let me give you a quick little exercise to let you know if you can hold it. Your delusion or imagination, if you want to refer to that, if you cannot hold it, there is a mental block to it. It could be belief, or it could be a thinking or behavior that may be the issue. So if you're holding your delusion that you have, let's say your delusion is, I want 20K, okay? I want 20K. I want to hold 20K. If you cannot even hold it, and every time you think of the 20K, there's something that comes up. It may be your thinking. Maybe your thinking is, oh, I don't believe that I can have the 20K, or I don't believe that it's possible, or I'm not doing anything for the 20K. So how can I possibly have it? Then that is your block. That is your thought process is going to make sure that you can never energetically hold the 20K. So the very first thing goes to belief. So if you're taking notes, write it down, because you will never see this video again. I guarantee you, unless you're in the Midas touch of feminine energy, that's the only way you're going to see this video again. So if you don't believe it, then you can't receive it. So that's the very first thing. Now, when I first started, I'm going to give you an example of money, because this was my issue. When I very first started, and I stumbled on content and information about manifestation and alchemy, and I stumbled in content on how to have these things and how to create the things for yourself, I realized that when I would try the process of visualization and try to see it, then I couldn't hold it. It literally would flicker out. And I realized the reason why it would flicker out, because I would start to believe that I cannot have it, because my background is I grew up in the church. And if you are a church girl like myself, you know there's something to do with money they teach you about if you have money, you're not going to go to heaven. Okay. So my delusion or imagination would stop at a certain amount. And a lot of times it would stop at about 10,000. And I could not imagine having 100,000. I couldn't even imagine having a million. It literally would flicker out, and I would start having these feelings of, oh, it can't happen. It's never gonna happen to me. I'm not doing anything to make that happen. If that is you, then you cannot hold the delusion. You can't hold what's in your imagination. And if you can't hold it, you can't have it, and baby, you can't receive it. So once I got past that, and that took practice, that took me shifting to become the person that could hold more than $10,000. And I teach that. If I taught that whole process again, this video would be super long, and I'm trying to make this very quick. So that's going to be in the Midas Such a Feminine Energy, the entire process, how to shift your identity, because that is your block. You are not, your unconscious mind knows that you can't hold it. So it's absolutely in protection mode. So that's the reason why it's flickering when you have that delusion, or when you imagine it, or you try to visualize it, you can't hold it. And all of the thinking that comes up for it, maybe you don't feel like you deserve it, or maybe you feel like it's never going to happen to you because you're not around the right people, or maybe you feel like that you wouldn't know what to do with it if it happened. It's being able to alchemize a delusion or your imagination takes more than you just having it, since it's energetic. Since you have to go into the spiritual realm in order to pull something that's energetic to you in the physical realm. So in order for, and here's another thing you have to connect, because without having a connection to the feelings and emotions that is connected to it, then that's going to be an issue also. So not only is the mental blocks may be an issue for some people of being able to bring your delusions or imagination to the physical realm, it may also be your emotions. Your emotions, when you have that delusion or imagination, you are numb, and you cannot be numb. You have to absolutely be able to feel and see and experience and plan. Because here's the kicker that no one's going to tell you when it comes to being able to do this, is that when something's energetic in the spiritual realm, you have to have a plan for it. If you ain't got a plan for it, it's not going to be an energetic match. It's not going to be willing to come from the spiritual realm to the physical realm because you have no plan for it. So whatever you are imagining, whatever you're visualizing for yourself, if you don't have a plan for it, if it's just something like a list or a goal that you need to check off, then it's not going to be attracted to you. It's not going to want to come to you. When I wanted the 20K, and I did it just to see if I still had it to a certain degree, because I like to absolutely use my process and bringing things from the spiritual realm to the physical realm. And I feel like it's one of those things that if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you don't constantly do the thing, you lose it. So I said, let me just do it, because I didn't really have a need for it in the beginning. And I think that's why it took longer than it's supposed to come. Because I learned in that moment, if I wanted to bring something from the spiritual realm to the physical realm, you have to give it a plan. So if you are just sitting here saying, oh, I want this amount of money, but you're just wanting it to check off the list or check off the goals that you have for yourself, that's not enough for it to be enticed and want to be attracted to you. It has to, in order for it to come from the spiritual to the physical, it has to have a plan. You have to have a plan for it. It's almost like you have to talk sweet to it in order for it to come. It has to be attracted to you. So if you decide, okay, maybe it's not money, maybe it's a promotion, maybe it's a car, maybe it's a house, maybe it's a man. If you want those things to come from the spiritual world to the physical world, you have to have a plan for it. And the plan cannot just be about what you need. The plan has to be about that specific thing. So for instance, if I'm going to try to get my 20K, and I've already done it, I already have it. If I want to get my 20K, I have to have a plan for the 20K. It's not going to come to me just because I want it, just because I desire it, because other people are getting it, and I just want to be able to hold that amount of money. It doesn't work that way. You have to talk sweet to the spiritual world in order for you to get the things to come into the physical world. Because remember, this is a representation of your imagination, of your delusion. So in order for it to want to manifest here on the physical realm, on the physical plane, you have to have a plan for it. So if you are saying, I want to alchemize and have this beautiful man that is providing for me and taking care of me, then you have to have a plan for him. You can't just say, I want this to check off my list because I'm ready to get married. I'm ready to settle down. I want somebody to take care of me. That is not enough for you to alchemize a delusion and bring it from the spiritual world to the physical world. And so once you have that plan for it, then it's time to actually write it down. Now you write it down in first person about your imagination and delusions. And then you give it life. You give it life by writing it down. You give it life, and it is more interested in being attracted to you and coming into the physical realm because you're giving it life now. Now you have a plan for it. Now your emotions are connected to it. Now you have a vision of what you want to do with that thing. Everybody with me here? Because I'm trying to go really quickly and make it really short and very sweet to the point. Even though that's not my thing. Usually I'm very long-winded. But you have to write it down in first person. You have to write it down as though you are operating with that thing right now. And so that it will be more attracted to you. Because taking something from the spiritual world is energetic. It is not just you have to view it more than the imagination, or view it more than just a visualization. Most people, what they do when they want something, they just sit around and think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it. And see, that is not enough for it to be attracted to you. You want, whatever's in your imagination, whatever's in your delusion, you want it to be attracted to you. You want it to have no choice but to manifest in the physical realm. You want it to come to you. So you have to be somewhat, I call it a sweet talker to it. You have to be a believer in it. You have to visualize it, which is the next thing. You're going to visualize having it and enacting the plan. Enacting the plan. So you're not just going to, and I did this for me. I did it for 30 days, 15 minutes a day. I did it for 30 days, 15 minutes a day, where I visualized me having the 20K. I literally would see it in my bank account, and I visualized what I would do with it. And then not only what I would do with it, I connected my emotions to it. So I imagined when I opened up my bank app and I saw my account number in the 20K, how would I feel? Then I made sure to enact my plan that I had for it, because I wanted to make sure that it is attracted to me. When you are trying to pull something from the spiritual realm, you have to make it attracted to you. You have to make it want you back. In order to have it manifest in the physical realm. That's the thing about alchemizing. You have to change it from the spiritual realm to the physical realm. But the way you go about it is going to be the difference of you being able to hold it and have it, or it just being a part of just your imagination. So visualization for 30 days. And I visualized me having the 20K. I literally every morning I would get up. I would do my little routine, get myself in the right mindset, because when you are doing this, you have to be in it. You have to be truly connected to it. This means you can't be trying to visualize and then be worrying. You can't be trying to visualize and then be cleaning. You can't be trying to, unless, here's a tip I gave other people in the Midas touch of femininity. You can do it if it has something to do with the thing. Let's say the 20K, I was going to buy something to clean my home with or something. Then I can visualize that I went to the bank and that I bought something to clean my home, and I'm using the money to do so. So if it works with what you're currently doing, then you can do so. But if it doesn't, don't do it, because it's going to interfere with you getting to that sweet spot, to that space where you are enticing the delusion or imagination to become physical. And that's what you have to do. And let me tell you this, all of us have our own different processes in order to make this happen. I'm giving you mine. And yes, I have alchemized 20K. I have alchemized a new house. I have alchemized a new car. I have alchemized friendships. I have done all the things, and I do it over and over because I want to make sure I never lose this ability to alchemize my delusion. Because if you don't use it, you will lose it. So visualize it for 30 days and enact the plan that you have for it. So let's say, for instance, that you are visualizing a provider man that's going to take care of you. He's going to spoil you, and he's going to do all these things for you.